So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you step by step on how you can start automating your Shopify dropshipping business as a complete beginner. And the reason why you want to automate your dropshipping business is so you can spend more time on the money-making tasks and not the boring tasks that are not generating income. Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Sebastian, known as the ECOM King, and in today's video, I've got a very important video for you, which is going to teach you step by step how you can start automating basic tasks in your dropshipping business so you can spend more time on the money-making tasks like running ads, like TikTok organic, anything that's going to generate the business income. As you do not want to be wasting hours a day spending time fulfilling orders, replying to customers, doing your retargeting. You want to spend as little amount of time on those tasks as possible. And the best way to look at this, guys, is you can either work in the business or on the business. Working in the business is things like customer service, retargeting, order fulfillment, and those types of things. Working on the business is actually generating more income and growing the company. Especially as a beginner, because if you've only got 1 to 3 hours a day doing this and you spend half of your time on customer service, order fulfillment, then what time are you really spending on growing the dropshipping store? So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you exactly how I automate every single one of my dropshipping stores as a complete beginner or a brand new store. And what I've also done for you guys is I've created a free Google Doc sheet that's going to have copy and paste templates that you're going to need for certain parts of this tutorial. And to get access to that, we need to hit 2,000 likes on this video, and then it'll be in the pinned comment and in the description below. And I can't emphasize this enough. This video is extremely important if you want to see success in your dropshipping store, because you are generating more time to generate more money on money making tasks. So you should watch this video in full if you can. So as you guys can see on my computer screen, I'm inside of my Shopify backend, and this is a brand new Shopify account because I'm going to be reacting what you should be doing as a beginner. And if you want to get a 14-day free trial to Shopify, make sure you use my link in the description, as you can get better discounts and better offers using that link. Now, as soon as you're in your Shopify store and you've created an account, you want to go to the app section and you want to download the first app called AutoDS. And there will be a link to all of these things that I'm going to be mentioning in the description of this video. And for those that are wondering what the Shopify app looks like, it's this one right here, AutoDS all-in-one dropshipping, and this is the icon. Once you've downloaded the app and connected it to your Shopify store, this is what the dashboard should look like. And what this app does, for those that don't know, is it's going to help you sync products from AliExpress, CJ Dropshipping, any of your dropshipping supplies into this software called AutoDS. And as the name states, it's automatic, meaning that every time you get an order placed on your dropshipping store, instead of you having to go into the app and click fulfill order, this will automatically fulfill your orders for you without you even having to click a button. Now, before this app will start automatically fulfilling orders, we need to set it up correctly so it can start doing that. So the first thing that you want to do is find a product on AliExpress, CJ Dropshipping, whatever supplier that you want. And I'd recommend that you download the Chrome extension for AutoDS, because as soon as you've downloaded the Chrome extension, you're going to see that when you go onto one of the supported suppliers, it's going to show you an icon saying import to AutoDS. You're just going to click that icon. Now, once you click that button, head back into AutoDS, and you're going to see where it says drafts on the left hand section. You're going to see create drafts, and then it says in progress. That means that that product has now published into your AutoDS app. So you can see here, it should say your dropshipping store name, it should say the supplier, and then it should say the amount of variance. Now, once you've done that, you're going to see an import button on the right hand side. You want to click import. Now, once you've done that, you want to head over to where it says products, and it should show your product that you've just imported. And once you've done that, you want to click the little 3 dots here, and you want to click edit. Now, once you've clicked edited, this should be your page here. It should show product description, variants, images, and item specifications. And if you go to the bottom left hand side, it should say monitoring, stock monitoring, price monitoring, and auto order. Make sure that auto order is turned on. And what you can also do in this section is you can actually change the title of the name. So instead of you having to go into Shopify's product description editor or product editor inside of Shopify, you can do it all through AutoDS, and then it will synchronize into Shopify. Instead of you having to do it both ways, you can just do it all through AutoDS. So you can also do the description through AutoDS as well, and you can change the variants, the images, and the item specifications all through this app. Now, once you've done that, there's another way you can import products as well. If you want to do it really fast and really effective, you can go to where it says add products, and you can add multiple products at one time. So let's say you've got like 10 products that you want to import. You can just add them all in here and do them all through this one button. Or you can upload it as a CSV file. That way you're going to do it a lot faster. And this is great if you've got loads of products that you want to import. Now, if you head over to the settings section in the bottom left, this is where a lot of the configurations need to be made to make it automatic. So when orders come through your store, you don't need to click a button. They're all getting fulfilled. So as soon as you come in here, you're going to see store settings and you've got lister. Now here, you're going to be able to change where you want your shipping methods to be. The cheapest for tracking, the fastest for tracking. I'd always recommend that you take a look at the AliExpress or CJ Dropshipping or whatever supply you're using and see what methods they've got, and then interline it with the ones here. And you can also change a lot of stuff in here about auto fill brand and stuff like that, but you don't need to worry too much about that. Now, if you head over to the automations button, this is where you can start to create automations that are extremely powerful. And the first one you can do is pricing automations, and I use this feature a lot. And what this feature enables you to do is it enables you to automatically adjust your prices based on certain behavior. So let's say we're going to call this one number 1, and then you click next. What you can do is you can click raise price by sales performance. Now, I like to do this because let's say, for example, I'm testing a product, it gets over 20 orders at the current price that I'm selling it at. I might want to increase that price to see if it can still sell at a higher price. That way you're making more profit margin. I might want to change this first box to numbers of sales higher than 20 per week or per month. I would change this to month. So you can see here, if I'm getting number of sales 20 per month, and you're going to want to change this every single time when you adjust it, but this is the first one that I do, you're going to see that you're going to increase the price. You can see here, increase the product price by what? So I'm going to increase it by $2. I like to do a $2 increase every 20 to 50 orders. So every 20 to 50 orders, if I'm charging $24.99, it's then going to do $27.99 and then $29.99 and keep going until you find a time where the price doesn't work anymore and it decreases the amount of sales. And the good news is they've also got an automation as well designed for when sales decrease, you're then going to lower the price. You can see here when numbers of sales are lower, so you can adjust this to match the other one, that it's going to then drop it back down to the previous price. So you want to make sure that these two line up perfectly so they don't counter each other and they work nicely. And then you can assign the products that you want to do this for. And I definitely recommend that you have this set up because it's going to help you increase your profit margins instead of you having to manually do it yourself. Now, the next thing that you want to check out is if you go back to store settings and go to orders, you're going to see here order settings. Process orders using the fulfilled by AutoDS service. You want that turned on. Automatic orders require a buying account or fulfilled by AutoDS management. You want that one turned on as well. And you also want to make sure that you have mark order as delivered automatically. And the reason why you want that done is because you don't want loads of pending orders on your Shopify store. You want to make sure they're archiving, and by doing that, that will do that section. What I'd recommend that all of you guys do is if you go over to where it does say automatic fulfillment, both of these two icons that you've just checked, you'll see a little question mark next to it. Make sure you read the more info section for both of them so you completely understand how this process works. And if you have any issues setting this up or not understanding how to set it up, you can go to where it says customer support and you can contact them and they can configure your account as well to make sure it's set up correctly so the automatic fulfillment is working. Now, there's two ways that you can make this work. You can either load up the balance or you can add a credit card to the account. So you can see here, if you go to balance, you can see mine's got $51 in it. And if you go to load, you can either load it up with a credit card or you can load it up with a debit card, or you can add an account, which is like a PayPal account, to do it. That way, they're going to charge your card automatically for every time you do the order. Or if you top up the balance, then you can have that balance on there. And then once that balance is run out, you can then top it up again. And if you don't use all the balance, you can refund it back to your card. So you don't need to worry about it. But those are the two ways the payment side works for automatic fulfillment. Now, the last thing that I'd recommend that you set up in this app is the notification settings. And if you go to settings again, notifications, you're going to see tracking numbers update, turn that one on. New order updates, turn that one on. order successful update, turn that one on. And then here it says monitoring notifications. You want to have both of these turned on. And then you can see here digital email frequency. You can turn this on to be daily emails or weekly. Now I'd recommend that you have them on daily. If it's too much, change it to weekly. And then this way you know exactly what's happening with your orders. Now, as we're on this topic, I want to go over a great alternative to AliExpress where you can source your products from to get faster shipping and better customer service, as they're all speaking native US English, and that is usadrop.com. And soon these guys are going to be working with AutoDS, which is amazing. And what you want to do is you want to sign up for completely free, and then you want to go to where it says sourcing and then where it says quote, sourcing URL. You want to put the AliExpress link in here, then select the countries that you want to sell the product to, and then this way you're going to be able to find out a good quote. So once you've done that, you're going to be able to see here status, quoting, and then what will happen is they will get back to you on how much roughly they're going to be able to get the product for, how much is the shipping, and what the delivery time is. And if you approve the quote, then it will sync automatically with your Shopify store, as USA Drop does connect with your Shopify store, so you don't have to configure it all yourself. And another really cool thing that I like about USA Drop is they have their own US warehouses as well, so you get really fast shipping direct to US. And if you go to the USA section, this is going to show you some of the products that they've got in their US warehouse, and you can see they've got over 62 pages worth of products, so you can click view details and you can use these straight away. You don't need to source them, they're all ready to go, ready for you to start selling. So now we've got the first part done on automating our dropshipping store when it comes to fulfilling orders and the tracking numbers and all that cool stuff, and that's going to save you lots of time now with AutoDS. You want to then move on to automating parts of your customer service, and we're going to start off by using a app called Tidio. And Tidio is a completely free app, and it is on the Shopify App Store, and you can see it on my screen. Now once you download this app, your screen should then look like this. Now for those that don't know what Tidio is, it's a live chat app for your website. So when people visit your website, they're going to be able to interact with this live chat. Now you're probably thinking, what if I have to respond to people? Don't worry, you can set up robots so it automatically does it yourself, and then that way you're going to keep your customers and potential customers really happy. So the first thing that we need to do is go through the setup section, and you want to configure your name of your live chat. Now I tend to use a female's name as I feel like it works better, so I'm going to call mine Jane S. You don't need to put the full name, you can put the full name if you want, but I tend to find that female names work well. And then you want to choose a color scheme for your avatar. Now you should do this based on what color your website is. Once you've done that, click continue, and then you can see here, tell us more about your experience. I would go with this section here. I want to automate conversations and I want to increase sales. And then you can see here how many support agents will you use on Tidio. I'd put 1 to 3. I'm going to start with 1. What is your online industry? You can choose here what your online industry is. And then you can put how many inquiries do you get monthly. You can put, I would say, probably 6 to 25, and then click continue. And then you can see here it says set up your first chatbot. Send them a discount code in the exchange for their email address. You do want to do this as it is going to increase your sales. So click continue. So once you've done that, you need to do 5 simple steps. The first one is add a widget to your website so people can interact with the live chat. And all you got to do is click this go to Shopify theme editor. Once you've done that, it's going to take you directly to the apps embedded, and you just want to make sure that this is turned on so people can interact with the live chat. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to come to the main dashboard, and once you come to the main dashboard, you're going to see here dashboard and then chatbots. Once you've gone to chatbots, you want to head over to where it says solve problems, and you want to go to this one here, which is called the FAQ for online stores, and you want to hit use template. Now once you've done that, it's going to show you a preview of what this is going to look like. Now what it's going to look like is it's going to give them a few questions that they can ask, which is track order, shipping costs, product questions, and other. Now you can test it out, or you can just use a template. Just hit use template. And once you've done that, it's going to bring you to this site map of a demonstration of how this is going to work. Now don't get too overwhelmed. It's really not that hard to use. It can get very simple. So what I want to do with you guys is break down the site map and how it works so you can build it how you want and what's going to be best for your store. So if we start at the start of the site map, which is here on the left hand side, you can see it says here visitor clicks on a chatbot. Now this is called the trigger. This is what's going to trigger this complete robot. Now you can change it by deleting it and then coming over here to the trigger section and adding a different one if you don't feel like this is great. And all you have to do is drag and drop it into the sitemap. So let's say, for example, I want it to be visitor says instead of they click on the chat icon. All I got to do is drag this over here and place it over there and then set it up the way I want. And let's say, for example, I go with the visitor says. I might want to change it to if they type in the chat icon, where is my order, or they put how long will it take for my order, then it will generate an action. So you can change your triggers by just dragging and dropping it in and deleting the old one. Then it's going to come to based on the chat status. If you've got times where the chat's online or offline, this would then change it. So you can either delete this or keep it. It just depends if you want to interact with the chat yourself. Then it shows you what happens if you're online. This is the process it's going to take. If you're offline, this is the process it's going to take. So there's two different ways it's going to work depending if you're online or offline on the chat. Now, the only difference is if you're offline, they will not be able to type in the chat. They'll only be able to click on the icons in the chat that will give them previewed messages. Now, if they're online or if you're online, it will then give them the option to interact with different messages after you send them automatic messages so they can interact with them. If you're offline, they can't. They've just got to go through the messages that you've automatically got. Now, once that's been done, it's then going to give them a decision on based on what they can help with. So the chat bot's going to say to them, what can I help you with? And then it's going to give them these different options: track your order, shipping costs, product question, or other. And you can actually add replies as well if you want. So if there's more you want to add, like FAQ or terms of services or refund policy, you can add it in here if you want to. Then what it's going to do is it's going to then take them to the decision, which is quick. And you can see here, need more help, you can start over, will reply soon. So let's say they don't get what they want from this, then they're going to move to this section, which is going to say to them, look, if you've not got what you found, then add it here and we can go into it. But that's only if you're online in the chatbot. Now, if they interact with one of these questions, track your order, shipping costs, then it's going to give them the answer. So for example, if they say, where is my order? It's automatically going to give them the order status. So this bot will automatically work with your tracking numbers on your Shopify store. So if they type in the email address, it will find the email address associated with that order number, and then it will tell them where the product is. So you don't actually really have to do anything. Now, if you don't have tracking numbers, then you have to turn this on, but you should all be having tracking numbers. So the bot should be working simultaneously. Now, you do want to test that out before you publish it. So I'm going to be testing the bot out just to show you how this could possibly look. So you can see in the bottom right-hand section, it says, what can I help you with? I'm going to track your order, and then you're going to see the bot's going to automatically say, okay, here we go. Let's start checking the status of your order. Do you have an email or order ID I can use? So they can either check with the email or the order ID. So let's say they've got an order ID. So we're going to click order ID, and then the bot's going to tell them what is the order ID. So then you're going to type the order ID in. So let's say the order ID is that. Then you're going to click next, and then the bot's going to say, I'm sorry, I couldn't find that order. Would you like to try again with a different order ID? Now, because I haven't got any orders on my Shopify store, this won't work. And because that order ID doesn't exist, it won't work. But let's say that order ID is correct, then it will synchronize with Shopify and then give them an update automatically. And the whole purpose of this first bot is to make sure that if you're going to get people that are going to be asking you where my order is, what's the shipping cost, all of these things, you don't need to manually email them the answers. They can do it all through this bot, which can save you hours a day. Like I said to you guys before, this is just the basic setup, and I found that this setup is more than enough. But if you want to add to it, you can do by adding more actions. And once you're happy with this, you can click save and activate. So once you've done that, your bot will be here, and you're going to be able to see your bots that are currently active, and you want to make sure they're active so they work on your site. Now, I want to make this very clear. You can add as many bots as you want to this, but you don't want to be overlapping your bots with the same thing. So this bot's designed to handle FAQ, track my order, all of those things. Do not make another bot that's similar, because they will overlap and it will confuse the end user that's using the bot. Now, if you want to make more bots based on different things, you can go back to solve problems or generate leads or increase sales. Now, the bots that I'm trying to get you guys to use through Tidio is solve problem bots, not increase sales or generate leads. You can if you want, but the whole purpose is to handle the customer support side of things. So you can see here, we've just set this one up. You can do keep in touch over weekends, handled missed conversations, AI responder, product availability bot, shipping zones bot, and automated representative answers. So you can do those ones as well. Now, in my opinion, you should be more than enough with the first one that we just set up, as long as it's done properly. So the last thing that we want to do inside of Tidio is make sure we got all the settings correct, so your bot is going to be fully effective and your live chat. So as soon as you come into the settings sections at the bottom left, you're going to have appearance, and this is where you can change the colors again. You can change the online status message. You can also change the position of the widgets, the labels. You can also use do not use Google fonts, so you can change that. widget visibility, mobile visibility, multi-language. So if you want to change it so it responds in all languages, you can do that. Then you've also got installation. So this is you installing it with Shopify. So if you haven't got it correctly done, you can do it through JavaScript. Then you've got chat page as well. So this is what it's going to look like once somebody's chatting with you on the live chat. Then you've got translations. Then you've also got your email, so you can integrate this with your email box, which I'd recommend that you do. Then you've also got your account. So what your current account is, you can change the avatar. So when people interact, this is the avatar that they're going to see. So then you've got notifications. How would you like your notifications to be sent to you so you know somebody's interacting? Now, do bear in mind, guys, that the whole point of this is to kind of minimize the amount of your time you're going to be using interacting with these people. So it's up to you how you want to use the notifications. And then you've got operating hours. And this is like what I was saying to you guys before when you set up the bots. Depending on your operating hours will depend on how your bot works. So do bear that in mind, and you can have them here. You don't have to have any operating hours. You can have it as a fully automatic bot by having it turned off or turned on. It's up to you. And then also you've got here teams. So you can actually add operators. If let's say in the future you do really, really well, you can hire a VA and add them in here. And then you've got integration. So Tidio integrates with loads of things like email, Facebook, Instagram, Slack. So you can actually make it really effective. And then you've also got here tracking, so how everything's tracked in terms of the events in your Tidio. So if you're doing things like generating sales or lead generation, you want to make sure that everything's tracked so you know where it's coming from. Now, once you've got all this set up correctly, guys, that should be your chatbot done, and this should take the pressure away from you having to deal with people that are wondering about where their order is, what sizes you've got. All of those things should be handled through Tidio, and you should have a smaller amount of emails coming through to your business. And the whole point of this live chat is to act like a gatekeeper to your time. So they should only get through the live chat and try and get hold of you directly if the live chat doesn't answer their question. So it should limit the amount of people that are going to come to you directly for help. And it should minimize that by a significant amount. So that brings us on to the next section of automating your dropshipping store as a beginner. And this is going to be for the retargeting and the updates for your customers. Now, what is retargeting? Retargeting is when somebody comes to your website and they don't buy something, or let's say somebody adds something to the cart but doesn't finish the payment. You want to make sure that your store is automatically trying to get them to come back and buy the product so you don't miss out. And you want to make sure that every dollar that you spend on advertising, you're getting the maximum out of it. And the only way you're going to do this is through retargeting. And you're also going to be using this to update your customers on orders, notifications like their order confirmation. All of this is going to be done through this app, and it's called SMS Bump. Make sure you use my link in the description because you will get free credits that you can't get anywhere else online, which is going to be great because it's completely free. Now, as soon as you've got the app SMS Bump, it will integrate with your Shopify store, and the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to the flows, sections, and the automation section. So it's this icon here in the bottom left. As soon as you come here, your screen should now look like mine. So the first automatic flow that we're going to set up is the shipping confirmation. So you can see here under the bottom, yours should show shipping confirmation here. Now, if it doesn't show it, you can search for it here if it's not showing, and then it should come up. Now, once that has come up, you want to click on it and you want to edit it by clicking this little pencil icon. And then it should bring you to the sitemap of how this is going to look. And you can see here it says order fulfillment is the trigger. And then it's going to show you the action that's taken, and it's going to show you as the SMS message being sent out. So it's going to say site name, which is your brand name, the first name of the billing name your order has been shipped with, and then it's going to show the shipping company and your tracking number is, and then the tracking number. And then it says questions, reply to this text. And what you can do is you can actually add extra things in here if you want, but I'd leave it to be the very standard one. You shouldn't really be adding anything to this or removing it, but if you want to, then you can. But the minimum that you need in here is the tracking number. You might not want to add the shipping company if you're doing drop shipping from China, so you might want to get rid of this, but you definitely need to make sure that you're adding the tracking number. Now, the whole point of this first flow is to make sure that people know exactly what tracking number they've got, so they shouldn't be bugging you on emails about where is my tracking number. They should get it and they shouldn't bug you about it. The next ones that we want to set up are the abandoned cart flow. So you can see here, abandoned cart 1, abandoned cart number 2, and you can see here there's loads of abandoned cart ones we've got. Now I'd recommend that you guys have 3 different abandoned carts set up, and in that copy and paste cheat sheet you're going to have all the scripts in there. Now where it says abandoned cart on SMS bump, you should see it here. It might only give you 1, it might give you 2, but what you want to do is you want to create the first one, and in the cheat sheet it's going to tell you how you want to set it up and what times you want it to send it out. So as soon as you've set up the first abandoned cart flow and automation, then you're going to want to copy this one 2 more times by heading over to the right hand section, clicking the 3 dots and clicking duplicate. So you want to have 3 in total, and in that free cheat sheet it's going to tell you how to set up all 3 to make sure it's the best effective way to get customers to come back and buy that product that they've abandoned. Now those automations and flows are the minimums that you should have done, no questions asked. You should always have those set up. Now I'd recommend that some of you have got extra time here, go the extra mile and set up post-purchase cross-sell and customer win back. You want these 2 turned on as well, because what that's going to do is it's going to basically get customers that haven't bought from you in 20 days, 30 days to come back and potentially buy from you again. And then the other one is going to increase your average order value. So let's say somebody's bought a walking stick, then you sell them some socks as a cross-sell as an example. Now the other one that I'd recommend that you set up is the order confirmation one, which is right here. You've set up a shipping confirmation, but you should also set up an order confirmation, because then that way people are going to feel like, wow, I've got that confirmation to say that I've ordered the product, so they don't need to worry. The next thing is the shipping confirmation. You've got them both set up, so they should work really nicely, and then that should stop customers from bugging you personally about what's going on with their order. Now something else that I'd recommend that you guys do in sort of SMS bump is head over to integrations in the bottom left, and I'd recommend that you integrate it with Klaviyo. And the reason why I'm saying you need to integrate this with Klaviyo is because what you do inside of SMS bump should be replicated in Klaviyo. So if you've done a shipping confirmation in SMS bump, you should have a shipping confirmation in Klaviyo. And if you've got an order confirmation in SMS bump, you should also have one in Klaviyo. Whatever you do inside of SMS bump, you should replicate it inside of Klaviyo. The only difference is one's as an email, one's as a text. Some might open the email, some might not open the email, some might open the text. So that's why you need to make sure you've got both set up. The reason why I'm only showing you SMS bump is because this is the one that people tend to struggle with. Now in that free Google Doc sheet, I've also got all the scripts for Klaviyo in terms of what you should put inside of the order confirmation, the shipping updates, all of that will be inside that free Google Doc sheet. So once you set up Klaviyo, it's the same thing again, search for the automation and flow and then set it up as instructed in the free Google Doc sheet. But you want to make sure that these are integrated together so they work as effectively as possible. So now that brings us on to the next part of automating your Shopify dropshipping business. Now the next section is your ads, your paid ads like Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads. So how you're going to automate this section is based on rules. So for example, let's say you launch a TikTok ad and it spent too much money. Instead of you having to manually go onto TikTok and click turn off, you're going to set up rules so it does it for you, so you don't need to worry about wasting money and potentially forgetting to do it. So if you head over inside of the TikTok ads manager, now if you want a TikTok ad strategy in terms of how to run your ads on TikTok, I'll leave a link to one of my videos teaching you my full ad strategy, so you can watch that one at the end. So let's say you've got a few campaigns created, or you followed one of my videos teaching you how to create a campaign and you've set it up. What you want to then do is you want to hover over your campaigns, and in the top right section you should say where it says automated rules, you want to click that button, and then you want to go to where it says create new rule. Now once you click that button, it should take you to the automated rule setup, and we can see here we're on the create custom rule section. You've got schedule and delivery, unlock potential, enhance performance, and control budget. Now you can't do this one, schedule delivery, unlock potential, if you've already got campaigns running. This is before you publish campaigns that you use these two, but we're going to focus on create a custom rule first. So you can see here it says apply rule to. Select the campaign, ad group, or ad you want to apply this rule to. So you can see here you can apply it to whichever ones you want. So you can see here I'm going to apply this rule to all active campaigns, meaning which ones are turned on. Then you're going to see here it says condition and action. So the condition is if total cost, so you can see here total cost. Then it says calculation method of each objective of all objectives. So I'm going to say of each objective. Time range, I'm going to do last 3 days. Now I'd recommend that everyone does last 3 days for this method. And then it says here is greater than. So you can see is greater than. So this is going to say if it costs greater than in the last 3 days, we're going to turn it off. So let's say if it costs us for example, more than, let's say, $100 in the last 3 days to do a certain condition, then it's going to turn off the campaign. Now, what you might want to change this to, as you can see here, the condition, total cost. So I might want to change this one to CPM or CPC. So I might change this to CPC, which is cost per click. So if the cost per click in the last 3 days is greater than, let's say, $1, it's going to turn off those campaigns, for example. Because let's be honest, if your CPC is over $1, you're spending a lot of money on getting a click. So what you might want to do is, if you want to try and stay safe, maybe change this to $1.50 just in case. But these are the types of things that you can do to limit the risk on ads to spend more money and to stop wasting time doing this yourself. And then you can see here the action is. So if the action is, this is what it's going to do for you. So this is the rule. So this is what will happen if it hits this requirement. Then it's going to say notify me. So then this will send you an email saying, look, your CPC for this campaign is over $1.50. So you can change this to turn off. So if it meets that requirement, then it's going to turn it off automatically for me. So you can choose how you want this to be done. And you can see you can adjust it by daily budget, adjust lifetime budget, and so forth. So you can use this strategy in loads of different ways, increasing campaign budgets if the ROAS is better. So you can see here, we can change this to ROAS, we can change this to CTR. So you can change it so you can scale or downscale or completely turn things off. Then you can see here, rule settings, run schedule every 30 minutes, run daily, run specific time. Now I do run daily, and you can choose when to run daily. I set that at midnight, and then you can see here, run specific times. Then you've also got notify me, so it will notify you based on your email address as well. So that's really important as well. And you can also do it so if you can also get them to notify you even if the conditions aren't met, it's still going to inform you about it being done. Now, if we go over to the next way you can do this, it's under enhance and performance. The first one we did was create custom rule. Now we're going to show you how to do it through enhance and performance. So this is one of the methods that I would use under the enhance and performance method. So you can see here, if total cost of all objectives in the last 3 days is greater than $300 and the conversion in the last 3 days is less than 3, meaning let's say I get less than 3 orders in the last 3 days, but I've spent $300 in the last 3 days, I can do it so it adjusts the budget, or I might say, you know what, I'm going to turn it off. So if I've spent all that money but I've not got enough sales, I'm turning this off because it doesn't make sense. That's what you could do. So you could do this. So let's say you're testing dropshipping products out and you're only willing to spend, let's say, $500 per product. You could set this up to 500, and you could say, you know what, not 3 days, 5 days, as you're going to be spending 100 per day. Then you're going to see here, if you don't get at least 3 sales, then that product, that campaign is getting turned off and you don't need to worry about it. So that's an example of how you might want to set this up. So you don't have to worry about manually doing this yourself. You can have it automatically do it, so you don't need to worry too much about your testing product not overspending and failing and causing you a lot of problems. Another example that I'm going to be showing you is through scaling, and this is one that I use myself, and this is a great way to scale automatically and really effectively. So this time it's going to say if the total cost of all objectives in the last 3 days is greater than $500, meaning that's how much we're spending on scaling, and the conversion in the last 3 days is greater than 8, meaning that we've had 8 sales based on $500. This is just hypothetical. It's just based on what you'd put in. Then it's going to adjust the daily budget by $50. So we can set that one up, and you can see here it runs every 30 minutes, runs daily, runs specific times. So you can change the specific times. Run daily is what I'm going to have it on. But you could change this to, then again, you could add another rule and change this again to saying if it spends, let's say, $300 and it makes 10 orders, we're going to adjust this again by $100 or $1,000, however you want to set it up. So this is a really good way to automatically scale your TikTok ads without you having to manually be in there and do it yourself. I find that the automatic method for scaling is more effective than the automatic method for turning off. It just depends how you want to use it, but I find that I get more use and value out of the scaling strategy because you're going to be doing more scaling than you are turning off. If a product does well, you're going to end up using more campaigns, more budget. So naturally, you're going to have more automations for it. Then you've also got the control budget in the right hand side. Now this is just made to make it easy for you guys to set it up. You can do the same thing under the enhanced performance. Now this time it says if the total cost of all objectives in the last 3 days is greater than $500, let's say that's your testing budget, then it turns it off. So that's one thing that you could do. You could automatically have it set up so it turns it off after $500. You can have it set up so let's say it spends over the last 7 days. You can set this up so this way you're not going to be overspending and worrying about spending too much money. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to do the same thing but on Facebook ads, as it is slightly different. Now if you want a Facebook ad strategy for dropshipping, there'll be one in the description, so check it out at the end of the video. So once you've created your campaign, you can see here this is an account with loads of campaigns on it. You want to go to where it says rules, create a new rule, and you can see here reduce auction overlap, reduce audience fragmentation. I wouldn't worry about those two for now. Just go to where it says custom rule, click next, and then it's going to give you the basically what has to be done to then use the rule. Now I might want to call this rule name the product name, then ROAS kill. So whatever the product name is, so I'm going to put P and then name for product name, and then ROAS in terms of return on ad spend, and then you're going to call this one that, because depending on what the ROAS of that product is, you're going to kill it if it goes over the break-even ROAS. And it says here, apply rule to all active campaigns, or you can choose specific campaigns. So where it says conditions, you're going to want to change this one to website purchase ROAS in the drop-down menu. So this basically means return on ad spend. So you need to work out what your ROAS is. So let's say my ROAS is 2.2. Anything over 2.2, I'm doing really, really well. Anything under 2.2, I'm making no money. So I might want to be safe and say, you know what, we're going to put this at 2.1. So if the website purchase ROAS is under 2.2, is smaller than 2.2, I might want to turn this campaign off. So you can see time range maximum. I'll personally set this to 3 days. I find 3 days works better. And then you can see here, website purchase ROAS 2.1. So if the website purchase ROAS is lower than 2.1, then this is going to turn my campaign, my ad set off, because I'm not profitable. And then you can see here continuously, daily, custom, and you can do the same thing on TikTok notifications as well. So guys, that's one of the best examples I can show you in Facebook for managing rules and automations, which is based on the ROAS, and you can do it vice versa. If the ROAS is greater than 2.2, you increase the budget by 30%. That's another rule that I use, so I'll show you how to do that one. So if we go back to conditions, go back to ROAS, website purchase ROAS. Let's say it's greater than 2.1. What we're going to do is we're going to increase the budget. So you can see here, website purchase ROAS is greater than 2.1 in the last 3 days. And then where it says increase daily budget by, you want to make sure where it says percent, you put 30%. I like to do between 30 and 50%. So it's up to you what you want to put in here. So I've put 30%. And then where it says maximum daily budget cap, that means how much do you want to set the cap at. So you can set that up to whatever you want. So I might say the max I want it at is 50, and that's per day. So per day, there's a cap at £50. So that will stop you from overscaling. So this is another strategy that I use on Facebook to scale my campaigns really effectively through automations. So guys, those were just a few basic automations that you can do through Facebook and TikTok ads. Now there are other apps out there that you can use to integrate with Facebook, Google, and TikTok to give you even more wider used automations, but those can cost quite a lot of money. And as you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend that. If you're doing really, really well, then maybe you should do that. But as a beginner, using the ones that are built into these advertising platforms are going to be good enough. Now, what I would advise you to do, and disclaimer, is make sure you test these out before you use them. Make sure you get used to using automations, have a little bit of a play with them, get to understand them, because if you use them on your real ads when they're running and you've not done them properly, you can damage your performance, you can overspend. So make sure you're only using these automations when you understand how they work and you know how the software works behind it, so you don't make too many errors. Now, you will naturally have a few errors when you use them. That's typical, but try not to use them if you have no idea what you're doing. Now, the whole point of you using automated rules on these advertisement platforms is to save you time having to adjust things. It should also save you money at the same time. Let's say you normally spend an hour doing your Facebook ads, TikTok ads. It should now reduce that to around about 30 to 40 minutes. So guys, the next thing that we need to automate with our Shopify dropshipping store is the PayPal tracking numbers. So if you're going to be using PayPal as a payment method, and I do recommend it, then you need to make sure that your tracking numbers are automatically getting updated so you avoid any PayPal holds or any PayPal issues with your funds. So the app that I like to use for this is called Trackshot, as you can see it on the screen, and it does have a 7-day free trial, and then after the 7-day free trial it's around about $9.99, and I definitely think it's worth the money because it's going to stop you from losing and having money in PayPal and stuck in there for 90 to 180 days. So that $9 really is justified because of how much money it can save you from potentially being locked up. Now, once you open up the Trackshot app, your screen should now look like mine. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to head over to the settings section in the bottom left. And as soon as you come to this page, it's going to give you the option to connect with your PayPal. All you need to do is click that button and add your PayPal email address and password, and then it will integrate it with Trackshot, so it will automatically upload tracking numbers. And then if you head back over to the orders page here on the left, it's going to show you all of your orders, pending, in transit, out for delivery, so it gives you all the information that you need for your orders. It's also going to give you a tracking page, so this is what your customers will see. So you can see here, hide cities in China. You might want to have that one tick so your customers don't know the products are coming from China. So this is a really powerful page that you can create, so all of your customers with tracking numbers can see where their current order is. And you can see here, hide tracking history, hide cities, hide carrier name on your tracking package, track by your tracking number. So you can adjust this to have it how you want. It's up to you guys how you want to adjust this. You can also change the progression bar to match the color of your brand. Now, when you click the preview button, it's going to show you what this tracking would look like on your Shopify store. So if we go to the preview button, this is how it would automatically look with making no adjustments. So you can see here, it's integrated into your Shopify store. You put the tracking number in, your email in, click track, and then it's going to show you order ready, in transit, out for delivery, and then delivered. And then it's going to show you the history of your tracking. What you might want to do is you might want to hide cities in China, and then that way it will only show it them once it gets into their native country or near their native country. So this is a really powerful thing to have set up. Now, the next thing you can set up is notifications, and the only notifications that I tend to have set up in here are the order delivered or order returned. So you can see here, you can have those options turned on and then enable this feature. And then what you can also do is you can go into the archives and see some of your archived and fulfilled orders. And if you head back over to the dashboard, it's going to show you some really cool features like order reports, last 24 hours, last 30 days. It's also going to show you here a little circle pie of all the different options that's currently happening with your orders. So this is a great app to really help you guys with your tracking numbers and keeping your customers up to date. So guys, that was it for today's video on how you can automate parts of your dropshipping store as a complete beginner to save you hours a day so you can focus on the money making tasks. Now let me know what you thought of today's video in the comment section below. Make sure this video hits 2,000 likes as soon as possible so you can get access to that free Google Docs sheet and whiz your way through this setup process so you guys can get straight up to the best setup possible to save as much time as you can in your first journey with this dropshipping store.